Hello, hello, everybody, and welcome. So happy to have you all here with me today. We thought we would do something a little bit different today. I'm really looking forward to our time together. So, today, I thought it would be really fun to bring some of my wonderful, awesome clients who have actually worked with me in some capacity, specifically inside of the Six Figure Biz Academy. And I wanted to just chat with them, kind of get to know them better, and learn a little bit more from their perspective, how things shifted for them, right? So, how is the Academy? How did it influence where they are now? So that is our intention today. And I'm also really delighted to have my one and only tech extraordinaire, and that is Miss Rita. And so Rita Esther is joining me as well. Actually, Rita does so much more behind the scenes than tech. She came on board with my business. Gosh, it's been, I don't know, how many years now? 3? Something like that. It's been a while, right?
3 years, I believe.
Yeah, 3 years. Time flies. And so I originally brought Rita on board to really help me with the technology, right? Like kind of behind the scenes with all the sales pages and the funnels, and now I'm so happy that she is taking on a bigger and bigger role inside of my business. So lots of really great stuff going on. But specifically, I wanted to have Rita join us today because last year in the 2021 cohort of the Six Figure Biz Academy, she went through it. Like basically, she went through it pretty much as a student, right? So she got to witness a lot of not only behind the scenes, but also the delivery of the program. And I think the best part, I'll leave this up to her to talk more about, but was being able to get to know the people in the group and really get to witness that amazing transformation that occurred over that 6 months, right?
Definitely.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and jump in. So today we are going to be specifically talking about how a strategic coaching program can catapult your business to success. And that is our really what we want to talk about today. So let's go ahead and jump in. So we've got a few people here, and we have Miss Tanika, and we've got Elisa Dines, and we have Rita, and we might even have, who knows, we might even have more joining us today. So this was kind of a last minute idea that we thought would be really fun. So who would like to start just in terms of a quick introduction?
I could start. Hi everyone, my name is Elisa Dinses, and I am a registered dietitian. So I started taking Leslie's Six Figure Biz Academy. I was in the last cohort, and I am a dietitian. My business is kind of duals, half private practice, half consulting. And before the academy, I kind of was all over the place. I had just started a couple of years before my business, and I actually thought of taking the academy a year before I did, but I realized I really wasn't ready. So I stalled it for a year, and then I reached out to Leslie and I said, I'm ready. I'm in such chaos right now. There's something needs to give. I need the help. And it's been great. The Biz Academy, our cohort finished, but we've actually stayed on as a monthly group, which has been super, super helpful. I think many of us, like at least myself included, kind of felt like when the academy was over, it was so amazing and so helpful that we wanted to continue.
Right.
So we're still in it, really.
I love it. I love it so much. So Lisa, tell everyone a little bit about your area of specialization.
Sure. So on the counseling side, I see primarily clients that come to me for weight loss, digestive issues, GI issues, and food sensitivities, and some eating disorders. And on the consulting side, I would say it kind of runs the gamut. Community programs, food service. I help organizations kind of strategize their meal programs and figure out how to scale up, how to create efficiencies in their meal programs. I'm a consultant for like some CFP programs. I mean, it really touches the areas. My background, I've worked in all areas of nutrition, clinical, community, corporate, home delivered meal programs, government regulations. So my consulting side kind of represents all of that experience, I would say. And yeah, so
Yeah.
2 areas.
It's an awesome business model.
Yeah. And, I think as time goes on, I'll continue to fine tune a little bit more. Some days I'm kind of like, oh, I'm going to grow the private practice side. And then other days I'm like, oh, there's more opportunity in the consulting side. And it kind of like, I still teeter back and forth. I haven't fully decided exactly which direction. Maybe I stay in both areas. I don't really know yet, but for now it's working to straddle both.
Well, the nice thing is you have variety, which
yes.
is something that many of us crave, right? And so you've been able to build this model that really provides that level of variety for you, which is
I will say that it started because I quit my last full-time job. I quit in July of 2018, and I worked in government for 9 years before that. That was my last full-time job. And so I was like, okay, I'm quitting my full-time job, time to go out on my own. And the first project was a consulting project. So that's kind of how it really started. And I was like, okay, I could do this. And then I got another consulting project. And then, those were kind of like project-based. They weren't all the time. So like, oh, I'm going to start doing some nutrition counseling. And I got an office to do nutrition counseling. And so it really wasn't like I set out to say, okay, I'm going to have a consulting and counseling business. I kind of just took them as they came. Right. And since then, and with the help of Leslie's course, I have more than a full-time job.
Amazing.
And again, for myself, not working for somebody else, but
yeah.
So I never thought that quickly that would be able to happen.
Amazing. So I'm going to circle back around to you to hear more about some of the changes that you made in order to, you're so busy, which again, kind of depending on how you look at it, right? Pros and cons to that, but you really stepped up the pace of the business and also the revenue piece, and then the delegation, right? Which I know we're still working on that part, but so let's go to Tanika and let's get, a quick overview of where you are.
Okay. So my name is Tanika Carr. I'm in Texas. And so my business was kind of everywhere, which I think all of ours kind of start off everywhere. But so what I actually got out of Six Figure Business Academy is really just, to be honest, where to start, how to, how to write out things and how to get potential clients to say yes, really more so than, so it's kind of everything, right? Because I had just started in 2019 as a favor for a friend, and the bug had been put in my ear a couple of years before. I currently work in dialysis. And so I went to a seminar and the dietitian was like, yeah, I do private practice. I was like, that's a thing. And I just didn't know that was a thing in kidney disease. And so I started private practice as a favor to a friend. And I was like, I kind of like this, but I didn't really know where to start. And so she was like, well, yeah, I can be your business coach, but she's a nurse. And I wanted a business coach as a dietitian who gets what we actually do, because that makes a difference. That made a difference for me, because having Leslie be a dietitian, she knows, like, okay, this is what people want. This is what people are looking for. People don't want you to say, you have to be skinny and and you can't eat any, you know what I mean? Like, and that's like nurses, they tend to still think like that. So I wanted a business coach who was a dietitian who knew like what it is that we do. So it really helped me kind of be able to focus on, you have to have a niche. You can't just be all over the place. And so that's really what it helped me do. And I loved it.
Incredible. Okay. So you were just starting.
Yes.
Back when you joined the academy, and Elisa was further along, right, in her process. And it's so interesting that it worked for both of you. How do you think that is?
I think it doesn't matter what stage you are. I think if you even are 10 years into your business, you can benefit from hiring a business coach or joining a business coach class, because there's always fine tuning. A business, if we stay stale, we're dead, right? You have to keep it moving forward. And I think there's always improvements. There's always things to learn. It's the groups there. It's amazing to have the camaraderie with other people. the focus, the attention as business owners, we have to keep it moving forward.
Mhm.
So it doesn't matter whether you're just starting or you're in, you get the feedback from together as a group.
Right.
And yeah, and I think, to agree with Elisa, I also think it's just like if you're just starting like I was, like you don't really know where to start, right? Because there's so many websites and there's ADA, DPGs, and then there's this website and there's this website. But I think to have someone who can help you really start to finish, and because if you start and you're 6 years in, then Leslie can help you fine tune like where you should go. But if you're just starting, she can help you like, this is how you get clients and this is how you get them to say yes. This is how you do your money. You know what I mean? So I think a lot of people, you start a business no matter where you start. But you still need somebody to help coach you into what the next best option is.
Right. Yeah. It's so interesting because that's one of the most common questions I get is, oh my gosh, is it right for me if I'm here? Is it right for me if I'm over here? And most of the time the answer is yes to all the above, right?
Yes.
With very, once in a while, I'll run into an exception, but for the most part, it's because the framework is, it's a really valid framework that's been tried, it's been tested many times over almost 8 years, right? So these are foundational elements that are just critical to have in place. And a lot of people that struggle even 10 years in, we go back to the foundational pieces first and kind of discover, we need to tighten this up. Like that is probably contributing to a lot of the confusion that they're experiencing. So Rita, what would you tell us a little bit about you, and maybe give us a little bit of insight from your perspective.
Sure. So I'm a big old nerd. I love all things tech. Some people can look at an instrument and just play it. I'm that way with technology and software. I have yet to meet one that stumps me, and I love it. So I started working with Leslie, like she said, about 3 years ago, just designing sales pages, and just our relationship has gradually evolved to where I'm like, oh, I can help you with this, Leslie, or I can do that. To where now I'm actually doing tech trainings within the academy, which is a lot of fun. And also, if somebody gets stumped with something, I'm able to help them. I might make a quick Loom video or get on a Zoom call with them. And so I've really been able to connect with members in the academy on like in a one-on-one basis and in a group basis. And what I've really seen, what I've really been impressed with, and last year, I've worked with Leslie for a while, but last year was the first time that I was on almost every single call. Like I was in it, right? So I really got to see it from beginning to end. And when people enrolled, they were nervous, they were scared. Almost everybody said they were overwhelmed. They were all over the place. Their time management was just whatever. They were just putting out fires all day. And then literally like 30 days, they then have a schedule that they're sticking to. And even something as simple as implementing like theme days, which we actually covered this week in our kickoff call, but covering like theme days where like this is the day that I write, this is the day that I market, really just helps the people focus. Like the students, the members, however you want to call it, all of a sudden they're focused, they have purpose, they're not confused anymore, and they just make giant strides. And then with the, whenever you try anything new, it always makes you nervous, and all these, demons come up like, can I really do this? I'm going to fail, da, da, da. And having that community of support saying, no, you can do this. People are going to love it. And then it gives the members like the confidence to like go for it and do it whenever, if they were left to their own devices, they would say, maybe I'll try that next year, or maybe after, summer, or after COVID, or after something. And instead they're going for it and doing it. And it's just been great to see, people just blossom as business owners.
Yeah, I love it. So yeah, the confidence is insane, right? The growth, and also the results. I mean, that's really what I think I'm most proud of, is the fact that this is a program that delivers results. And one thing I do want to add about, having Rita with me now in the mix is because, in full honesty, full transparency, sometimes it's that tech piece. And I'm sure those of you that are listening, give me a yes if you can relate to this. Right? You already know what I'm going to say, right? It's like I can teach all day, all night about like all the strategies, but sometimes it's the tech that can stop you in your tracks, right? And so that is one of the things that one of the variables in the Six Figure Biz Academy that I really wanted to overcome. One of the barriers for my clients and my students to be able to implement. So now with Rita, it's awesome because those challenges can be really quite readily resolved, right? So what that means is in the Six Figure Biz Academy, you have the support you need to actually implement. And if you have tech questions, we've got our awesome resource, Rita, who she's never been stumped yet. So I love that. So that is, I think that's a really powerful element. So I'm so appreciative that Rita is really taking on a bigger and bigger role in helping my clients, being a resource for them to help move them forward.
Mhm.
So awesome. So let's talk just a little bit about, let's try to talk about the, like what more specifically you were able to accomplish in the Six Figure Biz Academy. So, Elisa, I know you started by saying that things were really chaotic, right?
And they're still super busy and I'm still fine tuning, but they were so much more chaotic before. I mean, now I have dedicated times. I am working on figuring out, I know how I spend my time, where I spend my time, where before I really didn't know how I knew I was busy all day, but I didn't really know how I was spending my time. So I would say that.
How did you do that? Like, what was it that helped you to nail that? Do you remember?
Just the organization. I took the time, like being in the course forced me to take the time to map out my whole business. All the things that I do, how much time I'm spending where, and kind of put times to it to dedicate the time each week to different elements of the business. But I would say outside of that, in addition to that, I gained the confidence to ask for what I'm worth. I would say that is like the biggest thing. Now, on the counseling side, I take insurance. So that's a whole other conversation, how to navigate, which I also learned tools and strategize. We did as a group one of the days, figure out how to maximize and be able to ask for what you're worth within an insurance model. But on the consulting side, and for anyone who's a dietitian and is listening, you all know that we are grossly underpaid in many ways because we don't ask for it. Like, it's part of the problem. Like, we're willing to accept less. So it's we don't create change there. And on the consulting side, from when I started till now, I literally ask for double as an hourly rate for all of my consulting projects. Now, some are grandfathered in, so I didn't raise them marginally, but for any new projects, I literally ask for double. And I have to say, knock on wood, any consulting customer has agreed to the double. They've agreed. When I told them the hourly rate, they agreed, no problem. It was not a deterrent. The cost was not a deterrent to not work with me. So, but I did not have the confidence. I was afraid. I was afraid that I wouldn't get the job or I wouldn't get the gig. And I really wanted to build my business. And I just said, at some point you got to say, well, it's not worth my time.
Right.
And I gained the confidence to do that. So that was
maybe the courage that first time. Cause I remember that first time.
Yes. That huge win. And I was like, yay.
I need you to actually do it, to not go back and say, you're super low price.
Right. So, there's a couple of ways I think I learned, which we learned through the academy, a couple of ways that you can grow your business, right? You can create more volume and hire other people to work for, to work for you and with you and create volume, or you can increase your rates. We can't work. We don't have an unlimited amount of time to work. We can't work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's chaotic. That's chaos. So really recognizing that in order to do good quality work, I needed to increase my rates in order to do good quality work. And if there was someone that couldn't afford or didn't want, and this is again on the consulting side, then I was willing to let it go. Being willing to let it go if they don't agree.
Yeah.
Is huge. But I think I gained the confidence just from the group, just from all the strategies, all the classes. I gained that confidence.
So good.
And from the other people in the course.
Right. Because
we're all in the same boat.
it's super, super supportive.
Yes.
Okay. That's incredible. So, I mean, one of the big takeaways is you doubled your asking price for the consulting work.
Yep. I
Like,
doubled.
just one day, boom, double.
Yep. I just went for it. I said, I'm going to go for it and let's see what happens. And they were like, okay, no problem. Literally was the answer. I said, okay.
That was so
Was
awesome.
that easy? For 2 years, I had been stressing out about this. I'm like, that was so easy.
Yeah, I love it. That is.
But if it wasn't for this course, I would not have gained the courage to do that.
Yeah, so good. And it sounds like the pods were also helpful.
Yes, I still meet with my pod.
Okay, tell us a little bit more about, because there's probably people listening that don't know what a pod is.
Right. So Leslie broke us up in addition to the course, which, by the way, if you're debating on whether or not a group class is for you, it is so much more than a group class. Like, you really get a lot of one-on-one attention. And Leslie and Rita, when it's like those tech talks, really focus on every single person individually. So although it's collective as a group, you get a ton of one-on-one attention within those groups. So Leslie broke us up into pods, and pods meaning like small teams. And we were to meet regularly, our small teams, to hold each other accountable. It's really part of the accountability.
Mm-hmm.
And accountability is so important. So I continue to meet with my pod, and occasionally our pod group will use a time, and we just kind of like vent out stuff, which is also helpful because we get feedback from each other with struggles that we have. Other times it's more focused, and we have goals, and we have to report back to each other on our goals, even if they're so small. And it could be as minimal as, next week I'm catching up on all my billing. Right. So it could be mini goals. It doesn't have to be a monumental goal, but small changes create the big change. And the pod group really helps for the accountability.
Oh my God. People love the pods.
Yes.
Absolutely love it.
I need that personally for me. I really needed that. Life is busy. I have 2 small children. And I run my business, and I need the accountability because I know, oh gosh, I didn't do what I said I was going to do, and we're meeting tomorrow night. So I need to carve out the time today to do what I said I was going to do.
I know. It makes you
like it makes you do it. Yes.
So the thing, I want to go to Tanika next, but I do want to just kind of pick your brain on one thing, because I remember, Elisa, talking on the phone with you before you signed up for the academy.
Mm-hmm.
I remember really clearly that your concern was, will I get enough personalized support? Do you remember that conversation?
Yeah. And you absolutely do. I was concerned because I felt like I needed a lot of help.
Yeah.
I really felt like I needed a lot.
Like, I completely get it. So you did feel like you got personalized support, even though it's in a group.
Tons of personalized support. I mean, the Facebook group alone, you post a question and Leslie or Rita, they respond. Like, so there's time, you can ask your questions anytime, in addition to all the other colleagues there responding, but you absolutely get tons of attention. There's coaching calls where you can submit your questions in advance. You can ask them there, and you get tons of individualized attention. And Leslie does a really good job at kind of, even though it's somewhat planned, like the topics of the academy week by week are planned, she does a really good job at knowing who the people in the group are and what it is that they need, and tailoring the conversations and the questions and the work towards who's in that group. In our group, I think we happen to have a lot of dietitians, right? I think in our group, we happen to have a lot of dietitians. So there was synergy there. But if it was other health practitioners, maybe the conversations would be structured differently. Tons of individual. I never once felt like I didn't get my question answered. And if I didn't get it answered on a coaching call, I sent an email and got it answered.
Yep.
There was never a time where I felt like we didn't get the attention.
I'm so glad. I'm so happy about that. That's great. Okay, so Tanika, tell us a little bit, because I know you're at work and you want to grab lunch. So we probably need to chat with you for just another minute or two, and then let you go grab some lunch and get back to your work, right? So yeah. So, if you were to really try to quantify, to the degree possible, what would you say your big takeaways were, or what were, kind of the best parts of the academy?
Oh man. First of all, well worth it. I will say this, I didn't say in the beginning. So I actually have done direct sales before. And if anybody has ever done direct sales, you're always paying for conferences and da 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 da, right? But it was like I can do the same thing and actually use my degree that I went to school for that I love. Like talking about food is my life. Like I like to talk about food. And so I was like, it's the same, but this is something I enjoy. But I think for me, what really helped was one, how to just stop and think. This is your focus. And the other thing I really got out of it was just because you have a lot of different guest speakers as well on the call, and so that helped. When your accountant was on the call, it was phenomenal, because one of the things that she said that made so much sense that nobody thinks about, I think, was when you know how much money you want to make, you have to work backwards. And I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense. It's because people always want to talk about, I want to make this much money, but nobody knows how to get there.
Right.
So I think starting like scaling back, and I literally like got off that call, because most of the calls that were during lunchtime for me at work, and so I would get on them, and I was on that call.
Right.
Some of the other calls I had to listen to the recordings, but I remember I think I spent the rest of my day doing this worksheet, and I was like, I'm supposed to be working. That was really important to me, right? Because at some point you have a thought of, maybe I want to leave corporate America behind, but you don't know where to start. And so I think as business people, if you're not working in corporate America, then you may be okay. But like, I work in corporate America and I love what I do, but what if I want to leave corporate America in 10 years? How do I make that happen? And that was just phenomenal. She was like, start backwards and you do a third here. And so it was like, wow. And then, like I said, like Elisa said, rather, having the pods. I don't still talk to my pod, but we do keep in touch. And our niches were the same, which was awesome, because I could and we were all from different states. So that was really nice. So we could see like what works for you. Well, let me try that. Well, what works for you? Well, let me try that. And so that was really nice. And then just having accountability partners, because you couldn't just tell yourself you're going to do something, get on the call with Leslie, and then be like, okay, whatever, I'm done. It was like, no. Now you have people who are saying, okay, so what'd you do? And it's like, because you know what it is. So you had to really have some type of some type of consistency, but Leslie makes it easy to be consistent. Because everything's broken up, it's small pieces. It's just do this worksheet. Some of the worksheets you can do together with her on the call. And then the worksheets are explained, so you just have a little bit of homework, but it's not this daunting business plan, but it's a business plan. When you really think about it, when it's all said and done, after the class is over, like, you just wrote your business plan.
Right. Yeah. But it's a useful plan rather than like a 50-page thing that you're going to submit to a bank for a loan, right?
Correct. It's like
you're never going to like ever pull out again. So
correct.
Exactly. I love that. So Tanika, what would you say to someone that is thinking about joining the academy?
You should do it, and you should invest in you, because you are worth it.
I love that. Awesome. Thank you. All right. So, Rita, is there anything else you'd like to add on that note? We should probably tell people how to, we get some nice feedback here. Let me show. Hey, Karen, I just saw your comment here. Okay, so Karen Kennedy is a six-figure biz grad. And then this is the thing. I got wraparound support in the class. I learned what to do why to do it, how to do it, and the community support to carry me along. I had good clinical knowledge, but zero business marketing money sense. And I didn't want anything to do with that. After my business school, I feel so much more comfortable with all of this, and it's working. That's the best part. Love that. Okay, great. Oh, look at you. Amazing. Oops, hang on. Let's see. How do I don't know why. Okay, there we go. Hey, Karen, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
See you.
You too.
Thanks for hopping on. So, what would you like to add, Karen? Clearly you had some great results. So maybe start by introducing yourself because other people don't know you like we do.
Right. Well, I'm a functional nutritionist, and I'm over on the West Coast in Southwest Washington.
Mhm.
And when I came across Leslie, I had been out of the business for a while. I stopped my business for about 7 or 8 years, to homeschool my kids, focus on my family. And so when I got back in, I was feeling like I really just didn't, my confidence was really low in lots of different ways. And so I was looking for a way to get some support. And I don't know if I'm sure other people do this too, but I had signed up for every free business course on the internet. Every free business course. I was looking at all these things. And because I do one-on-one work, but I also love doing groups. I'm always trying to run groups because I love running group programs. I didn't know how to fill them. Like I felt like I had really good content. Like I had so much to offer, but I couldn't sign people up because I always felt really salesy. I didn't want to be pushy. And then I just couldn't get people in my programs that were good. So when I finally came across Leslie, she actually taught a business module at my functional nutrition program at IFNA. And so that's where I got a great introduction to her that made me realize, oh, okay, this is where I want to go. This is where I'm going to dig my deep well, instead of all the shallow wells of free online courses. And what I loved about it was, we were just, I think it was Tanisha was talking about how she loved getting the one-on-one, felt like she got her questions answered. Mm-hmm. At the beginning, I was so worried about that. And I thought, oh, all these other people, they seem to know so much more. They're asking their questions. I'm not going to get time. And I almost dropped it after like the first 1 or 2 classes until I realized how much I was learning from listening to the answers that Leslie was giving to other people. I think who knew Leslie better. And then I gradually got confident and I started asking my questions. Right. And because, it is a group class and you're not going to be able to have the floor the entire time, but that's okay because I didn't even know what I didn't know, right? That's where I was at. And other people in the group, obviously this wasn't their first rodeo. They had been around the block. So I really benefited from just lurking and listening for a lot of the times until I really knew what I needed to ask. So that was good. It was so great that way.
Yeah. And so then you started to feel like more assertive and more comfortable asking your own questions. Yeah. And applying the information. And so I want to circle back to the idea of groups because, I did the multiple streams of income, that big event that, kind of as a next step is the 6-Figure Biz Academy. Mm-hmm. So we have lots of people that are really, really wanting to create the multiple revenue streams, via groups, various strategies, right? Trying to basically build out that profit pyramid. So how did this class, the 6-Figure Biz Academy, help you to fill your groups?
Well, first, so just that profit pyramid totally blew my mind because the first thing it made me realize was I had a reverse pyramid. I was charging too much for my groups, not enough for my one-on-one. And I didn't have the right flow of allowing people to get to know me gradually at different price points. And I had the material. I just had my profit pyramid inverted. And so for those of you listening, you've probably already been through Leslie's profit pyramid, and that alone blew my mind and really helped me switch it. But I think what helped me fill my groups is that I already had a lot of material for freebies, a lot of great free information that I could give away on webinars, on handouts, on little ebooks. And I had low cost e-courses where someone could just sign up and just do like a 1 to 3 week class of online recorded things, because I love making that. But no one was signing up for it. And what I realized working with Leslie was this, that I can't just throw this like big ticket item at people like, hi, I'm Karen. I'm really good at what I do. You can trust me. Why don't you pay me $997 for this program? It starts next week. And that's what I was doing. I thought, oh, people know I'm good at this because I am.
Yeah.
So the pyramid made me realize it's not just about filling out and getting lots of price points from me. It's giving people a ladder to climb up. And how to like create this ladder so people can come in. You know how it is. Like you signed up for all the free courses too. Like, oh, I'm not going to sign up for Leslie's big thing, but she has this free class and it's how to do this profit pyramid. And then you learn that and you trust her. And so, well, maybe she has more. I'll do a more expensive course.
Right.
And so I learned how to cultivate that and still give really high quality information and still be able to do what I love to do, get paid for it, and build trusting relationships that felt like I was really nourishing relationships rather than being all salesy and smarmy. That is how that profit pyramid really helped me in my business in a way that felt ethical and genuine.
I love that. Yeah, so good. So now tell us a little bit about your, what you've got going on in terms of your groups.
Right. So I remember when I came in, I was looking, I thought, I've got to get this group I've got off the ground. And I spent the entire time in Leslie's program trying to figure out how to fit that onto the group that I was doing. But what Leslie's program made me realize is that, we hear a lot about niche, you have to niche. And I got to understand the whole niche thing and I made friends with the whole niche idea. Let's just say that. And I realized my program was so broad. It didn't solve any like urgent problems. I was marketing it the wrong way. And it was too, like, nobody knew what they were going to get. And I understood that. I got it finally.
Yeah.
And so I put that aside and I scrapped it for parts because I created material. You never have to get rid of material. I repurposed it and put it in different places. And now I've realized that what I really want to do is, like, I support people with blood sugar using continuous glucose monitors, and I'm taking people through group programs and my one-on-one clients. Like I can actually take people one-on-one, but now I can create really affordable group programs that are focused on using continuous glucose monitors affordably for more people. And I love it. I could do this all day, every day in my sleep. It's so rewarding, and people know what they're getting. Like it's very clear what I'm doing. So people know, they're like, oh, Karen is the blood sugar person. Karen's going to hook me up with this.
Oh my God, that is like music to my ears right there. Right.
It's clear. I know how to be clear about what I do. Yeah. I do this. I help people with this. And it's fun. So it's really nice. I get to work with anybody I want. Like that's the thing about the niche that I didn't get. I can work with whatever I want, but I get to focus and create a message that this is what I do, and it creates clarity for people who want to work with me.
Right. Okay. That's the beautiful thing. I always say, a niche is not a marriage, right? Like, right? It's no exclusivity required. It truly is just a marketing strategy so that you don't dilute your message. Because if you do that, if you try to cast too wide of a net, which is kind of what most of us think it feels more comfortable because we're so scared to eliminate people.
Right.
But it's opposite. It's absolutely the opposite.
It's our favorite pair of shoes.
Right. For sure. It is a well-worn pair of shoes, without a doubt. That's a great way to put it. But when you do finally capture who you want to work with, your niche, you realize, gosh, I can take these people, but I can also take other people outside of that niche that I want to, or not, right? It's up to you. So it really is awesome to me that you were able to use the Six Figure Biz Academy to streamline everything and to grow those groups.
Oh my
Because
gosh.
that is probably the number one thing that practitioners want nowadays, because just the burnout of doing one-on-one exclusively, like it can be so gratifying, truly. At the same time, you only have so many hours in a day, right? And I think Elisa was talking about that. You're eventually going to top out. You have no more days or no more hours to sell for one-on-one. So first of all, you're probably exhausted, you're getting burnt out. And if you want to continue to grow, you have to figure out ways to move into the one-to-many model, right? Which is what groups and some of these lower cost options can help you to accomplish. So it's really pretty exciting. All right. So Karen, what would you say to anyone that's still on the fence about the Academy?
I love being an entrepreneur. I'm a creative person. I can create things all day, but I find it's really lonely, and it's hard to create. It's hard to be in business by myself. And I think in addition to the information, because the information is great, we all worship Rita's technology. I mean, I cannot understate the helpfulness and how fun it is to have Rita on these calls. She's just great. But my takeaway, what I have now is my pod. We talked about the pods. Leslie puts us together with a few other people who we meet with fortnightly. No one knows what fortnightly is. Every other week. My pod still meets, and we've taken from a few other pods, and we still meet every other week. And that community has continued to carry me, and we just like help. We support all the Leslie things. And did you hear this? And I talked to Rita. Rita's doing this, and so it gives you your business community.
Mm-hmm.
It gives you the confidence. It lets you know the things you didn't even know to ask. And I paid even my course, the course that ended up I trashed for parts. The course that I ran after starting with Leslie paid for the course, because I actually did sell out more and I did better with it, and it was fine. And I used that to pay for Leslie's course. Like within 2 months, it was a done deal. That was the best money I ever spent.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. I'm so happy to hear that. As we start to wrap up, Rita or Lisa, do you have anything else that you'd like to share? Or how about if I ask you, what would you say to someone that is still on the fence? Because for our audience, we are going to be wrapping up enrollment, right? So we start our first skill building call on Wednesday the 9th. So I would say this is last call, guys. If you're thinking about joining, this is something I offer one time a year. So this is it. Let's make 2022 the year for you to move your business forward. So I've got the link here on the screen. You could actually just go to sixfigurebizacademy.com and you'll see a link at the top of the page to apply and to just save your spot so we can have a chat, right? This does require a conversation with either myself or someone from my team, because truth be known, we want to make sure this is a good fit. We want to make sure that you're a fit for the Academy and that the Academy is the right next step for you in your journey. So can't hurt to fill out an application. Let's schedule a chat and let's just make a decision based on that. So as we wrap things up, what would you say? Any final words of wisdom, or, how would you answer that question of, if someone were on the fence, what would you say?
I would say if you're ready to grow your business and you really are ready to grow it and ready to move your business forward, it is such a small price to pay in the big picture. Such a small price. I mean, I almost, I would say my revenues from taking the course are on trajectory to double what they were before. And so it's a very small price to pay. You'll get so much out of the course. It is mind blowing. I know, Karen, you love to use that terminology, kind of like mind, your mind was blown, but it really is. It's such a small price to pay.
Yeah. Awesome.
Huge.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, so just do it. Sometimes you just have to make those decisions to go forward, and just go ahead and do it. You'll get so much out of it.
Guys, it is a little bit of a leap of faith. Okay. It is. But hopefully this conversation today has kind of helped settle your fears, kind of helped you put those to rest a little bit. It is interesting because instead of looking at it as a cost, I would really try to shift that thinking into the concept that it truly is an investment. What is an investment? It's where you put something in, but you get back exponentially more, right? So I do think that certainly based on what we're hearing, this fits that definition of an investment. And I love what Karen says. So in 6 months from now, you'll be totally leveled up. You'll be a totally leveled up business owner. And the cost is really minimal compared to what you'll earn. Beautiful. Thank you. Rita, what would you say?
If anybody's on the fence, I say jump in because, first of all, the doors are closing, so let's do this thing.
Yep, let's do it.
But just seeing the transformation and, Lisa mentioned that it's like little steps, whatever you're thinking, like all these things that you should do, like the should, or you could do. And do I need to, YouTube, or do I want to, create a group program or all this other kind of stuff? Instead of all of this noise that's in your head, it's like you have one thing that you're focusing on this week, and then next week you'll get something new to focus on. And really breaking it down to those bite-sized chunks, I think, is what makes it so doable. Because it's like a business school for health professionals. So, you're already finished with your clinician training. They don't teach you how to, do your taxes or how to market or write emails or create landing pages or any of that kind of stuff. So it just finishes what you started.
Yeah.
So if you're on the fence, get in. It's going to be fun. And as you have seen, if you're watching this, the people that Leslie attracts, and I've said this on the calls that I've taken for the new applicants, the people that Leslie attracts are of a different caliber. Like Leslie attracts amazing people, which says a lot about Leslie as a person. But like literally on the kickoff call that we had this week, everybody in the comments was saying, I have found my people. This is where I belong. And like I was getting chills because it's true. Like the people that Leslie attracts are amazing. So I don't know what kind of magic she's got in her pocket, but it's great.
I love it. God, it means everything. I do this because I want to help people. That's it. I want to help the world of all you practitioners who don't want to have a job. Like, let's do this thing. You don't need to work for someone else. You can do so much better. Life, quality of life, doing the work that you love in the way that you love. You probably couldn't do at a job, right? And not to mention the opportunity to really, the revenue, that doesn't hurt either, right? The ability to really raise your standard of living and really make nice contributions to your family finances. So that is why I do what I do. It's to help you. So, all right, guys, we could talk all day, and I would love every minute of it, but I know we've got to let you go. You guys got clients to see and things to do. So thank you so very much for joining me, and a special shout out to our guests today. Really, really appreciate Karen, Elisa, Rita, and Tanika, who had to skedaddle. Really thank you ever so much for joining me and sharing your thoughts. It means really a great deal to me. And all right, guys, so we'll say goodbye for now. And I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. And we will see you next week, same place, same time. All right. Have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you next week. Bye, everybody.
Mm.